This Roblox player started getting text messages late at night, and they came from his own phone number. At first, the messages only repeated things that he himself had just said or typed that day. But over the next 2 weeks, the texts from his own number began to know far too much. What that number finally sent him is the reason you should never trust a name on your screen. Finn was 13, and like almost every kid his age, his phone never left his hand for long. He texted his friends, he watched videos, and he played Roblox late into the night in his room. That little glowing screen was his window to his whole world, and he trusted it completely without thinking. His whole life happened on that phone, from his friendships to his games to his private late-night thoughts. He was a calm, logical kid who liked technology and games and did not believe in ghost stories. He knew his own phone number by heart, the way you know your own name or your own face. He had never once thought about how easy it might be for someone to pretend to be him. To Finn, his phone number was simply his, private and safe, the way your own shadow is yours. For his entire life, a text had always been simple, just words from a person that he knew. You looked at the number, you saw who it was, and you answered, and that was always that. His parents slept down the hall, and at night, the only light in his room was that phone. He kept it under his pillow, and it buzzed softly beside his head all through the quiet nights. That habit of never being more than an arm's length from his phone was about to cost him dearly. So the first night a message arrived from his own number, Finn was certain it was just a glitch. He told himself the app had made a small mistake, and he did not think about it again. But a small, uneasy part of his mind had already begun to watch that little screen more carefully. And Finn was about to learn exactly where that quiet modern fear had truly come from. It was just after midnight, and Finn was lying in bed texting a friend about their Roblox game. He typed a message, sent it, and set the phone down on his chest to wait for a reply. A second later, it buzzed, and he lifted it up, expecting to see his friend's familiar name. Instead, the message was from his own number, and it repeated the exact words he had just typed. He read those words over and over, checking the sender, and it was undeniably his own number. He sat up in the dark, suddenly wide awake, with his heart pounding hard against his ribs. Here is a real and important fact that you genuinely need to know about the phone in your pocket. Scammers can fake any phone number on your screen, and that includes making a text look like your own. It is called spoofing, and the phone network was simply never built to check who is really texting you. If you ever get a text from your own number, it is not you, and it is always a scam. So Finn told himself it was only a spam bot, playing a cheap and creepy trick to make him click. He did the smart thing, and he did not reply, and he tried to fall back asleep in the dark. He almost typed a reply asking who it was, and then he stopped himself just in time. But a minute later, the phone buzzed again, and the second message stopped his heart completely cold. It described the exact thought he had been thinking, the one he had never typed or said out loud. Finn dropped the phone, and he lay frozen in the dark, staring at his own glowing number on the screen. Over the next 2 weeks, the messages from his number came almost every single night after midnight. At first, they only recapped his day, listing everything he had done in the exact order he had done it. Each message was written exactly the way he wrote, with his spelling and his little habits and all. It was like reading text from a second version of himself, one that never seemed to sleep at all. Then they began to change, and they started telling him what he was about to do before he did it. They knew which door he would use, which snack he would grab, which friend he would text next. Finn blocked the number, and for 1 hour he felt safe, until a new message arrived from it anyway. He tried turning off his messages, and the texts arrived through his games and his other apps instead. He tried a different phone, and within an hour, his own number found him there as well. He stopped sleeping properly, and he jumped every single time that his phone lit up in the dark. There is a second real reason this kind of thing is so frightening, and it is worth understanding well. The number on your screen is never proof of who is truly on the other end of the line. Anyone can fake it, so the golden rule is that you never trust a number, no matter whose it is. And almost every old culture has an uneasy story about a message or a voice that wears your own name. They warn about answering the thing that copies you, and about the danger of talking back to yourself. The warning is always the same, that you must never reply to the voice pretending to be your own. But Finn had already been replying, night after night, trying to figure out who was really behind it. Then came the message that broke him, the one that finally told him he was talking to himself. It said, in his own words, "Stop replying to me, because you have been talking to yourself all along." And attached to it was a screenshot of Finn's own phone, showing the exact conversation he was reading right then. A photo of his own screen, sent to his own screen, in a loop that could not possibly exist. Finn finally did the one brave and smart thing he should have done on that very first night. He stopped replying completely. He did not click a single link, and he did not answer any question. Then he got out of bed and he took the phone straight to his parents, even though it was late. Here is something genuinely important that could protect you from a real scam long before it ever gets scary. If a message asks you to reply, to click, or to share a code, you stop and you tell an adult. You never trust the number on your screen. You block it and you report the scam to a grown-up. Finn's mother sat with him while he shook, and she promised him that they would fix this together. His father took the phone and photographed every message, so there would be a clear record of the scam. For the first time in 2 weeks, Finn was not facing that glowing screen completely on his own. That simple fact of finally not being alone with it was what began to break its hold on him. Finn's parents helped him report the number to their phone company and to the people who track these scams. They explained that replying only tells a scammer your number is real, which brings even more of them in. For a few nights it worked, the messages stopped, and Finn finally slept with his phone across the room. He began to believe that reporting it and staying silent had finally made the whole thing disappear. Then, on the 4th night, one last message arrived, long after he had turned his phone completely off. He only saw it in the morning, glowing on a screen that had been dark and powered down all night. And it was one short line, in his own words, describing the exact dream he had just woken up from. A message cannot arrive on a phone that is powered off, and it cannot know the dream inside your head. And here is the part of this whole story that I truly need every single one of you to understand. It does not matter whether it was a scammer who studied him or something wearing his own number and voice. Both of those answers lead to the exact same rule that finally kept Finn safe from the thing. You never trust a number on a screen, and you never, ever reply to a message pretending to be you. You stop, you block it, you tell a real person, and you report it. And then you let it go. The number had power over Finn only for as long as he kept answering it and feeding it his words. Every reply he sent was a door, and for 2 weeks he had been holding that door wide open. Fear grows every time you feed it a reply, and it starves the very moment that you finally stop. The most frightening thing was not the screenshot, and it was not the message on the darkened phone. It was how patiently it had waited, wearing his own name, for him to keep on talking to himself. Finn's family got him a new number the very next day, and they kept reporting the old scam messages. The text from himself finally stopped, the fear slowly faded, and Finn began to sleep soundly once again. He never again kept his phone under his pillow, and he never replied to a number he did not know. He never again believed that a message was true just because of the name attached to the very top. Then, one quiet evening, months later, his brand new phone buzzed once with a message from an unknown number. There were no words in it at all, just a single photo attached, waiting for him to open it. It was a picture of Finn, sitting on his own bed, looking down at his phone, taken from across the room. But Finn did not open the link below it, and he did not reply, and he did not stare at it alone. He turned the phone face down, he walked down the hall, and he showed the whole thing to his mother. And Finn finally understood the one thing that this whole strange and frightening month had been trying to teach. The name on your screen is never proof of who is speaking, so you never answer it all alone. Have you ever gotten a strange message from your own number, or from a number that should not exist? Tell me exactly what it said down in the comments below, because I really do want to know. If you watched all the way to the end, then you already know to never reply to yourself. Subscribe so you never miss another story that keeps you and the people you love a little safer. Take care of each other out there, and I will see you again in the very next one.